Hey guys, how's it going? So the 2017 season update just got released, and I figured, it's a good opportunity to go over it, read all the changes, and predict, what's gonna happen in the coming season and what's gonna be different from now, and what's gonna maybe stay the same. So, anyways, let's get right into it here. Okay, yeah, so they got like four big kind of rework updates for Talon, Rengar, LeBlanc, Katarina. Then they got minor ones for Fizz, Zedekali, Kha'Zix, Shaco, and Echo. So, just to briefly go through these changes, I'm not going to show all the different spells and everything. You can do that on your own. But just in general, Talon, he's got this new cool like wall hopping ability, like parkour style. So seems like he's able to roam around the map a lot easier to get to where he wants to be and to kill that, priority target, I suppose. Rengar, they basically changed his Q, so it's no longer just an empowered auto attack. Now it's a little bit of a skill shot, which means there's a bit of counterplay to that. You can actually dodge it as, like, the squishy AD carry or the squishy support. Also, his empowered W gives him, like, a little bit of a Ragnarok, so he gets, like, he shakes off any CC and he's immune to it for like the next 1 second or something. Pretty interesting. LeBlanc, I honestly am gonna be. I really don't know how she works. Like, I don't know. Her change seems kind of confusing to me. Uh, Basically, they took her sigil and put it on her passive. Now her Q is a little bit of like a rise E. It like bounces. She still has distortion, still has the chain, and her mimic is like a whole different beast, which I'm gonna have to figure out on my own. And Katarina is pretty cool. She has a lot of like personal ability to get her own resets. It's not just focused on whether or not there's a kill or an assist in the fight. She can kind of dictate her own pace and how she gets resets with only her Shumpo. So she's going to be jumping around a lot, and that's interesting because she's not as one-dimensional anymore. So that's cool. And the minor reworks, not too big of a deal. I think they're like smaller, kind of just slight changes in their abilities, but they should be interesting, and they promote gameplay and counterplay and that kind of stuff. So pretty nice. Now let's get to the itemization though. So they're adding this new lethality instead of flat armor pen, which should have. And the reason is, flat armor pen had a really steep kind of power curve throughout the game. So it's really strong in the early game when people have really low armor values. And then as the game goes on, people just progressively gain armor on their champions. They also buy armor items. Flat armor pen just goes down the gutter. It just doesn't do as much. So lethality is going to scale with champion level, it looks like, which is going to make up for that kind of discrepancy in power across the game time. So it's probably going to be, ideally it's going to be this like flat power curve. So it's going to be just as strong throughout the game. And so what are we doing with items? Well, we got Serrated Dirk, which is the classic armor pen item right now. Instead, it's going to have lethality. And then now there's this big theme of out of combat movement speed, which is going to be across all assassin items. So they have Poacher's Dirk, which seems like a jungle item that turns into Serrated Dirk after you steal a lot of camps. So okay, we got the assassin themed jungling item. Edge of Night is essentially going to be the new assassin type magic resist item. So the new Hex Drinker, right? Anytime you see that the enemy team has 380 or AP carries, you can't just neglect getting that magic resist. So they have to have this Hex Drinker item. Hex Drinker is no longer the go-to assassin item. Now it's Edge of Night. And it gives this cool little active, which I have a hard time visualizing. I'm not sure how exactly it's going to work. I don't know how long this channel is going to be, and I don't know. I'm wondering if you cast this before you engage or in the middle of an engagement. So depending on that, cool idea though. You get a little spell shield. Duskblade they're changing, so no longer has the Zed alt kind of passive on it. Now it has basically the Kha'Zix passive on it, where When you go invisible, your next damage deals true damage. So, super synergistic with Kha'Zix's ult, obviously. But I'm just wondering, it'll probably have a cooldown to it. It doesn't say here, but I'm guessing it's going to have a cooldown. Otherwise, you just dart in and out of bushes. It also has the Raptor's Smite buff, the Keen Senses thing, which is kind of interesting because it kind of overlaps with like a sweeper if you get Sweeper's Lens. So I don't know. Maybe assassins won't need to get sweepers often, but we'll see. Youmuu's Ghostblade changed it up. Well, it still has a cooldown reduction, but now the active just gains movement speed. Huh. Wait, did they change the active? It used to give this like they said it was gonna give a blocks next auto attack. I guess it's just move speed now, which I don't know. It seems kind of weak compared to what it does now, but I guess they'll have to tweak some of the numbers. And like I said before, Maw is no longer the assassin item. It doesn't have any of the armor pen on it, so it's gonna be more focused on. I don't know who's gonna buy this then. I don't know. But what I wanted to say about this assassin itemization, it's very clear that all they did was hit AD assassins with these items, or improve AD assassins. And yet, it seems a little weird to me though, because a lot of the assassins they reworked right here are AP, right? And it's clear that they have a clear idea of what kind of stats assassins want. So like armor penetration and movement speed, out of combat movement speed. And yet they don't touch any of that for AP items. And that kind of seems a little strange to me. So what options do these AP champions really have at the moment in terms of like, movement items or like, I don't know, penetration for AP? It doesn't stick out to me. So I'm not saying that armor or magic penetration needs to be converted into the same thing, like, lethality magic. But as of right now, the options are super limited. Like, Haunting Guise, is that the go-to magic penetration item? I hope not, because honestly that item is just it's a conflicted, I don't know. That item has like an identity crisis. And then in terms of move speed, we know assassins want to have move speed. So where are the options for AP items? I suppose, Ludens, but that's also like a wave clear kind of type passive on it, and it seems like very inefficient. Lichbane, I suppose, is a pretty good assassin AP item, but it's more of like a second item. You're kind of forced to get like Morella Nomicon for a first, or maybe Protobelt, but I think that's going to be nerfed. Anyways, it just seems weird that they touched on mostly AD assassins and didn't even touch AP, even though they reworked a lot of AP assassins. So it seems like there's a weird discrepancy, and I feel like AP assassins don't have a lot of good options at the moment. Okay, now we have stealth mechanics. So camouflage is going to be Evelynn, based what Evelynn has now. So now Twitch and Rengar are added to that pool. And honestly, for Rengar, not a big deal, because he's never like in that close of a range. When he ults, he's always, he ults and then he jumps at you from the max distance. So not a big deal. Twitch though, yeah, I can see it kind of hurting, like hindering his performance. He used to use his stealth to like really walk through the entire team and get like a really sick angle on backline and just like three-shot them before they can even react. And so it looks like he'll have quite a bit harder of a time to do that. Also, when like you try to juke people with your camouflage Q, I think, like you walk one way and right when it goes, you start walking through the enemies the other way. Can't really do that anymore because they'll just see you. So seems like a pretty big hit to Twitch, honestly, in particular on it, like as opposed to anyone else. Invisibility though, this is like a huge buff to well, basically the people that are getting this invisibility status. So it's going to be Shaco, Wukong, and LeBlanc, I think. I think that's the only ones. And essentially, they can't be seen by True Sight, as far as I'm... Is that correct? I think so. Oh, and I think this is Kha'Zix as well, right? Basically, they won't get, like, fucked over by pink wards. But, speaking of pink wards, now we have control wards, which are basically pink wards, but they disable enemy wards and traps. And this is honestly, I think this is a really cool change. So what this means is basically I can drop a pink ward in a tactical spot somewhere like Baron, as this video is clearly showing. And as of now, basically, you need a pink ward on Baron at all times because if you're trying to deny the vision there. But you also need a champion there to, auto attack any wards that get placed. Just because you have a pink ward, just because you can see that they placed a ward there, you now have to have someone that walks all the way there and go clear the ward, which is like it just basically occupies all your time. So not only do you have to have the pink ward there, but you have to be there. Now with this control ward, all of a sudden you put the ward there and it like really takes over control of that part of the map without you having to be there, without your physical self having to auto attack the enemy wards and kill them, because when they're disabled, they're useless. So this is really interesting. I think that can open up a lot of different strategy around these kinds of control wards. But anyways, here we go, jungle. So they added all these fruits. Maybe you guys have seen these before. Blast Cone, Scryers, Honey Fruit. They're pretty interesting. I don't know if they'll be that impactful. They could be. Off the top of my head, Scryers is like, helps everyone equally. But when I look at the Blast Cone, it looks like immobile champions are actually going to be helped more so than the already mobile champions. So as it shows in this clip right here, we see Nunu is all of a sudden able to get over the Dragon Wall. Pretty cool. Whereas people that already could, Lee Sin, Rek'Sai, all of the standard junglers, basically Nidalee, it doesn't really do anything. They don't really care. They're the same as before, whereas now these new immobile junglers all of a sudden have access to things they didn't before. So I think that's cool. Similar to Honey Fruit, I think. It's just a little bit of sustain. Maybe junglers that have trouble sustaining in the jungle are going to use these and see more play because of it. Maybe it'll help them out. Whereas if you're already full, like always full, like Nidalee, Lee Sin again, this doesn't do much to you. They're adjusting the camps. So blue and red are just by themselves. No little mini shitters with them anymore. Better for Kha'Zix, I guess. They're already isolated. Seems good. The Raptors are 6. I don't know. Does that mean the gold is more divided? Probably. Wolves are the same. Gromp, whatever. Krugs, whatever. I don't know. Not a big deal, I think. So here are the masteries. This seems like a pretty big change to me. It's a small change, but I feel like it's going to have a lot of impact. Basically, they take out Strength of the Ages, replace it with Courage of the Colossus. So just courage real quick. Courage of the Colossus. Gain a shield when you inflict hard crowd control. And I'm not really sure what the definition of hard crowd control is. I don't know if that's a stun, a knock up, a knockback. I suppose it's like anything but not a slow. I guess slows aren't considered hard crowd control. Regardless, you get a shield. It's pretty cool for like tanks that have a lot of CC in their kit. So, and also that don't want to get, they don't need Grasp of the Undying. So what comes to mind is something like Sion, who, benefits from all these shields, but doesn't really like to auto attack that much in fights. So it's a cool mastery. I think it's nice. Meanwhile, Strength of the Ages is gone, which means a lot of, I want to say it opens up a lot of like variety for jungle masteries, because you no longer have to just pick Strength of the Ages. At the same time, though, by opening up that slot, you kind of just fill it with Thunderlords. I don't think there are that many other masteries that seem like really great options for junglers at the moment. Maybe, I guess, the tanky junglers, like maybe Rek'Sai, will get Courage of the Colossus, because when you knock people up, you get the shield. Kind of nice, but I feel like the other masteries, like Warlord's Bloodlust, is so streamlined for ADs. I don't know. There's Wind Speaker. No, there aren't too many other options, so I think we might see a lot more Thunderlords than we did now. It'll be like the beginning of the season where everyone takes Thunderlords. I guess we'll see. But I'm interested into seeing how it plays out. And then we have items, which is basically they touch on support items here. So they're taking out the Magic Resist Aura from Aegis, and if I'm correct, they're also taking it out from Locket of the Iron Solari. So it's kind of interesting. It begs the question whether it's actually going to be like a core buy a lot. I'm thinking it's not going to be as popular. So that's kind of cool. Oh, and I think it also isn't going to give any CDR anymore, so pretty big deal. Knight's Vow, now they have this health armor item that you kind of, you choose a partner and you get armor movement speed when you're around them. Also, you absorb kind of some of their damage, so like Bond of Stone, the mastery. Seems pretty good for tanky, melee supports. We'll have to see if it's efficient enough or a good enough purchase, but it seems like a good idea. And then now we have Redemption, which is, so it seems like the passive is plus heal and shield power, so builds out of Forbidden Idol, I guess. Gives health, mana, CDR, and then it has this cool little active where basically, well, it says target any area on the map after a brief delay. Allies in the area healed, enemies are damaged. And also you can cast it while you're dead. So it's this new kind of global presence that supports might have if they buy it. And I don't know, it seems interesting. Depending on how long the delay is for the damage and the heal, could determine how strong it is. I think in general, whenever people are in 1v1 fights and their enemy gets healed by like a Soraka ult, pretty frustrating. So it might have that same effect. And you might be able to snipe people while they're backing, Now instead of just looking out for, Ezreal, Ashe, Draven, Jinx, all those alts, now there's suddenly a new item in the mix that anyone can buy. So Redemption, you gotta watch out. Anyways, that's about it for the 2017 season update. Hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe learned a couple things. And I could be wrong about everything here. It's possible. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.